Welcome to the Ben Ben Show, episode 16. Yeah. This episode of the Ben Ben Show is brought to you by the Cash App. You think Leonardo DiCaprio is impervious to the Me Too movement?
I want hot dogs, Mom.
No, he dates 18-year-olds for a living. Better pile up that legal defense fund now. His handle on the Cash App's in my description below. Whew, just give it time. It's like a couple Johnny Depp moves. Dating Amber Heard, psycho, borderline personality. It's going fast, man. Oh, it's just what they do. They cycle. It's like, oh, Zac Efron's rising. We gotta knock down this Johnny Depp. We can use him. Parlay this up a couple crazy liberals that want to give us a few $100 million to the studio. So this is knock down one of our guys. It's starting to look like Jack Nicholson anyway. It's fine. Also sponsored by Jeffrey Tobin's Penis, equalizing the equation of crazy liberal journalism and some more objective Ben truth. I have to say, I'm not conservative whatsoever. I'm socially liberal. I just have a more libertarian view of the way people should view fiscal responsibility, the government. It's consolidating all our power in one area and having like an electoral college, for example, which is supposed to protect us against demagoguery, like having this like megalomaniacal person all at once, right? That is kind of antithetical. You shouldn't consolidate all the power at the federal government level, but then have an electoral system designed to protect against consolidation of power, right? I know you have the executive, legislative, judicial branches bifurcating this sort of like process, but it's more complicated than that. It's more complicated than that. Just the far-reaching power of the federal government, the government spending, the kind of way we've looked at the COVID crisis now today. Well, that's something we should mention. But right after this, COVID crisis has kind of like shown us that the government's willing to just say we don't know how to treat our own health, and there should be mandates on what we should do. If Biden was what the hell was that? If Biden was president right now, we would be forced to stay home. We would be, and those things, regardless of what you think about Trump, unpresidential, yes. Comportment ridiculous, yes. A bully, unquestionably. But I don't know that it makes him a bad president. I don't know that it makes him in cahoots with Russia or recently the Chinese, bank accounts, which, kind of unsubstantiated. You have to have foreign bank accounts in any country you do business in. It's kind of the way it is. It's how for currency issues, it's kind of the way it is. But don't want to get into that. Going back to COVID, it's just, I don't like a government telling me what to do with my health. Roe versus Wade applies in a very specific sense to a woman's body. Why the hell should it not apply to whether I should wear a mask or not? Or more importantly, because I think we should respect each other in a society that are more susceptible to COVID. Masks are somewhat essential, at least at this point, based on CDC and WHO guidelines. Fine. It's the mandate of what if a vaccine, I have to have one to put my kid in a private school, or a public school, excuse me. Maybe a private school also. They kind of, teachers at public schools make way more money than private schools. And there could be this huge push of like massive amounts of government money and subsidies. And then the private schools will have to, in order to maintain their charter, their being open, they have to, kind of conform to these kind of like public rules of kind of nationalizing the private sector in the school system, which is really messed up. I don't know that elites would like that. We'll see. All depends on who's paying the checks, right? But the way we treat people with COVID, this is kind of my point, it's weird. We don't care. No one gives a shit about people that have had COVID at all. We only care that you could have it. We don't give a baker's fuck. Once you have it, great. You're over the 14-day quarantine period or 20-day quarantine period. Wonderful. Put your mask back on. Get back in line, asshole. We don't give a baker's fuck. Imagine if you went through chemotherapy and then once it was over, by yourself, by the way, because no one can be near you, right? Because you're contagious like COVID. It's almost like most of the world doesn't even know you had it. There's no congratulations. There's no like flowers sent to you maybe. That's kind of like very, very at arm's length. And then you're done, you're back in public, and because you can get it again, which is very unlikely if you're in remission for cancer, it doesn't happen like that, and it's contagious, unlike cancer. Well, hereditarily speaking, some cancers, but not the way COVID is. It's not viral. You just put your mask back on and just no one cares. There's no parade for you. No one gives a baker's fuck. You survive this thing that's allegedly so dangerous. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get to it later. Ireland's, they've had 3.5% of the people infected have died, which I bet is proportionate to people over the age of 60 in that country. There's a country of 5 million people. They are now in a 6-week lockdown period, shutting down their economy again. There's alleged fear of spikes happening all over, particularly in Texas. We'll see what happens there. There's another shutdown. Be very, very interesting. If this could all parlay into the municipal governments of each city, kind of preempting Biden's candidacy and going along with this push, which could hurt the election cycle. See, this is what's weird. A lot of big people that might have, been conservative at one point really needed the subsidies from the government this time to get through. They might have even been converted to some form of, socialism. I know it sounds like a pejorative sense, but like more of a liberal mindset of like, hey, this is the reality that I'm living in. If you shut down their businesses again, I think people are going to go crazy and even the most liberal person would be like, you know what, I can't, Biden's going to do this maybe through the fucking Christmas. This is my slow season. I can't allow this to happen. I'm not going to deal with food stamps and like some sort of like canned food drive area bullshit like this is Venezuela. No, Trump all the way. That's the danger. And so I'm wondering about how municipals play this, because they have more power. They can do what they want. They can do anything they want, essentially, provided the governor of their state allows it. It's just interesting. Like, they could completely undermine the federal government level in terms of like mandates based on their own national disaster acts and so on and so forth. They can easily do that. Governor Abbott did it. He was the last person to do it, but all the cities before him were more austere and severe, like Austin, like San Antonio, way more severe than at the state level. It could happen again, especially if another shutdown makes absolute sense. The only thing is, I don't think it plays well if you want to maintain your power or your constituency, particularly in conservative states with business interests in mind. Just a thought. Let's pivot. We pivot just a sec. How about a remake of 3 Men and a Baby, where the ghost kid that allegedly was from that apartment that's seen in that one scene behind the curtain, but that's part of the movie in the remake. Like, there's a ghost. And Ted Danson, his wig, and Tom Selleck and his mustache have to fight it. Or like deal with it somehow. I think that would be a great remake. Oh my gosh, that'd be so good. Who was the baby in that movie? Did he grow up to be anyone? It's like a child star. Is he on coke? Is he Hunter Biden?